What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 27 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, it was BELEGAR's show as he took out army after army, but it ended in a very dangerous spot. Clan Scryer is attacking us with 2.5 stacks with plenty of the menace below available, 6 of them in effect, and that Clan Scryer Clanstone minus 44% spell resistance, bringing us back down to 0. And with Ikita on the field, that's certainly going to be dangerous. Gotta watch out for that Brass Orb, Storm Demon, Warp Lightning spam, etc. Should be a very fun and dangerous fight. We're going to pop the Rune of Courage, I guess, on somebody. Immunity to Psychology should probably go into one of the central units, and Rune of Battle one of the central units as well, as the other units are still probably going to try to Vanguard deployed. Really depends on what this map looks like. Let's find out, BELEGAR. Not only do we have to survive here, but we have to win without taking so many casualties that we can't continue to fight next turn. Go. Alright, I guess BELEGAR is going to be silent today. Perhaps it is too serious a moment, and we just need to quietly face our potential doom. That's a lot, and I mean a lot of rats that this army has to contend with without veterancy and without a lot of the stuff that will, like items and things, that will make it more powerful later on. Now, that said, we should still be able to do quite a lot of damage to the enemy as they move towards our main stack. Once again, we Vanguard deployed 8 of our units of Rangers while keeping 3 back to guard the artillery, especially from those menaces below, which are more than likely to be summoned right in the middle of all this. BELEGAR and his 2 Thanes are going to move forward as well, while the other 2 heroes are going to sit back. And the Thanes needed back here because, well, and BELEGAR, because the enemies have Doom Flares or Warp Flares, Doom Flares, and Doom Wheels, and we need to be able to deal with them both. Anyway, Zufbar 42 Pounders will fire and move through the enemy line of Storm Vermin and Skaven Slaves here, doing a little bit of damage to both of the units, while our Rangers continue their work pin-cushioning whatever enemies they can. They do have specific targets, though, and they're going to try their best to destroy things like the Warp Fire Throwers and the Storm Vermin with Halberds, anything without a shield, really, and anything that is a weapons team or an actual threat. But to be fair, pretty much everything other than a Skaven Slave unit is going to be a threat in melee or range to Rangers if they can catch them. And this is why I'm thinking that we'll probably want to get another engineer in this army. I really want that additional speed on these guys to be able to kite more as needed, since this is sort of the way that their army is working out. Anyway, the kiting continues unabated. The enemy so far unable to catch us, though they do summon a nice use of menace below, right in the midst of our units here, and by the looks of it, we'll manage to trap 1 unit of Rangers. We're going to move BELEGAR and the 2 Ghosts in, because this Mutant Rat Ogre and the Doom Flayers are charging forth. The other Rangers over on this side are moving away from the Storm Vermin. Fortunately, the Storm Vermin are too slow to catch them. I'm just going to have to reposition a little bit. We also need to move towards the range of our support, as in our cannons, who have currently, or who were up until now, too far away to provide covering fire. Finally, though, the Rangers are well in range of the cannons, and they can fire upon the Mutant Rat Ogre, the Doom Wheel, whatever it is that they want to target here. Doom Flares have been stopped by BELEGAR and the Thanes. and hopefully we should be able to deal heavy damage to them. But ooh, a charge on Halkenhalf Stonebeard from the Mutant Rat Ogre. That's concerning, and damn, just like that, 2 hits, and he's down to 40% HP. And this is what I was worried about last episode when I talked about the Mutant Rat Ogres and their magical damage. We really can't have them touching those ghostly units because they'll die in 4 hits. 1 more hit and Halkenhalf is done. We're going to have to move BELEGAR in. We'll even move the other Thane in to try to prevent that from happening. Looks like Warp Lightning comes down, and that heralds or signals the arrival of Ikit on the field, moving in with his Doom Wheel, but we continue moving everybody away under support from our cannons. Cannons and Rangers alike have nearly brought down the Warp Fire's wheel, though we'll have to retarget once again as Ikit and the Mutant Rat Ogre must take priority. Alright, a little fighting retreat, but this is what we want. Let's see that balance of power. It's about even right now, little tiny bit in the enemy's favor. Ooh, the enemy did get an artillery piece on the field, though a Plague Claw catapult. We're going to wait until the enemy army moves away a little bit, just a little bit further from the Plague Claw, and then we'll summon our gyrocopters upon it. Cannons keep knocking that Mutant Rat Ogre down and preventing it, hopefully, from chasing our ghosts down, while BELEGAR is essentially trying to shadow Ikit to try to get closer to him and hopefully to charge him in a little bit. We do want to knock him down before he gets that brass orb off, especially out here, or any other spells, though by the looks of it, he's drawing a little bit too close. There's that menace below, and I mean, menaces below have been dropping throughout the battle. And this is why we wanted to keep some of the Rangers back here, as somebody needed to deal with this. Unfortunately, the menace below will prevent some of our units from firing, so that's obviously going to be a concern. It gets now under fire by several units of our Rangers, and hopefully our cannons will follow suit soon as well. BELEGAR is still attempting to chase him, but of course, BELEGAR is a relatively slow hero. The Scryer Clanstone comes down, reducing our spell resistance by 44%, though BELEGAR has managed to reach it, and because of that Rune of Slowness, dropping him down to 54 speed, which makes it a lot more manageable. More Rangers and all the cannons trying to focus him down, but damn, Ikit can certainly take a beating on that Doom Wheel. Finally, he does manage to get that brass orb off, and will target a unit of our cannons, I believe, up here. Yeah, one of our cannons with it. And we do have the Bastion of the Great Cities up, so they're a little bit more heavily armored, but it's still quite dangerous. Out here, it looks like a unit of Storm Vermin have managed to move around and flank us, and are going to start fighting the Bugmans, and we're going to move some of the Ghost Pals in to deal with them, who, fortunately, because of their ethereal, won't be threatened by the non-magical damage units. Our army remains relatively spread out. We still have 4 of our Rangers on the left flank, though the right flank, with the exception of this one unit, have all pretty much started to make their way towards the hill where we're going to make our stand, essentially. Once again, we do... Ooh, that's a pretty darn nice shot. We do need to make a stand and try to knock down as many of the enemy's threatening range units before they get to us. I imagine we can hold the piles of melee and destroy them with artillery and whatnot over time. Even the Rangers should be able to hold them long enough for us to do damage. But we can't deal with enemy death globes and artillery and whatnot, though fortunately their Plague Claws have been destroyed now by those summoned gyrocopters. Gotta appreciate that gyrocopter summon. And Rune of Wrath and Ruin comes down where the Rangers and where one of our Hurt Thanes was trying to hold back the Storm Vermin, and though the enemy is sending plenty of spells our way as well. Cannons keep on firing, and finally, Ikit will be forced to flee. Broken, but not defeated. I don't know whether we can manage to knock him down, and we're a little bit busy as we try to hold back the Vermintide. Some Rat Ogres make their way past the rest of the slower moving units and charge our Rangers, starting to rip through them with their armor-piercing damage. And we're going to move a few Rangers in to reinforce, just to make sure that the Rat Ogres can't go past them and into our lines of cannons back there. Another use of the Zufbar 42-pounders will hit a blob of enemies in the center who are currently being slowed down by the cluster munitions, or the explosive munitions, or the... I don't know what they're called, shrapnel projectiles, shrapnel munitions, whatever, that the grudge throwers make good use of. Gotta love that monstrous impact. Certainly taking the enemy much longer to reach our lines than it normally would, but here they come. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 enemy melee units, and more coming as well, plus a few range units interspersed there. They've also got some plague monks in there, which are going to be a concern, as they would rip the rangers apart in melee if given the chance. We still have some of these units out here, though. I was hoping to peel away a few more enemy units with them, but alas, it didn't quite happen. Out here, Semeshan Triads did manage to catch one of our units of Bugmans, and between the Weeping Blade and the damage they do, the Bugman's Rangers got pretty much ripped apart. They can't really face enemy units in melee outside of aura stacking near the main line, whether it be auras from our runes or our lords or our war drum. So basically anybody who's outside of the main blob is on their own. Anyway, the rats just keep on coming, and more reinforcements are still making their way on the field. It is looking dicey in some ways, but in others, the balance of power has shifted in our favor to about 60%, though it is still, once again, quite dicey. BELEGAR remains in the center of it all, and has dealt a decent little bit of damage to everybody around him. Master Rune of Spite isn't doing anything crazy, but I'm sure it's doing at least a bit. Anyway, Ghost Pals still trying to hold back the tide, though fortunately with our cannons having knocked out the enemy pile, or the two enemy mutant rat ogres, they're at least not threatened by the magic damage. And once again, that's a lot of rats, so just trying to hold them back as best we can while the artillery continue to fire. It's also about time that we switch to grape shot fire from the cannons, that we just need to find a good way to get them actually firing into this blob. If there was more space, it might be better to get them down the hill and sort of fire into the side of this, but unfortunately we're surrounded from basically every side at the current time. So it's a little bit iffy. Alright, what a fantastic battle, though. I mean, it was always going to be do or die, and that remains so. Over on the flanks, we've got a few more fights happening with the isolated Bugmans. This one unit got caught by the clan rats, and is kind of losing to the clan rats in melee, unfortunately. Well, there isn't really much we can do about that. As long as the main line holds, and at the end of the day, these guys are still distracting them. So hopefully that'll be okay. The enemy range are doing a little bit of work, but funnily enough, it seems that the slingers all seem to want to target the war drum here, which is kind of interesting, and because that's actually probably a good thing. I'd rather them target the war drum, which they are not doing a lot of damage on. Anyway, the big blob of enemies finally gets hit with a Rune of Wrath and Ruin, which clears plenty of them, opening a massive hole in the middle of their line. The balance of power shifts with that one spell to maybe 65% in our favor, and will hopefully shift further as our cannons and rangers continue to fire. Every melee unit that is freed from the front line is a unit that can once again get into range combat, rather than holding back the enemy tide. Alrighty, Stormvermin and Clan Rats are booking it on out of there. Plague Monks are still fighting, of course. I believe they're not unbreakable like they are in SFO. Can't really select one. Yeah, they're running. So that works out in our favor. Plague Monks being unbreakable in SFO makes them a lot more dangerous. Alright, not much to say about this from a tactical perspective anymore. It's just hold the hill, and hold we must, or else BELEGAR's entire army dies here. The grape shot's firing away now, trying to knock out any enemy range units that have been annoying us for so long, and most of the enemy melee units have been forced away, allowing our rangers to once again fire upon the enemy. Of course, this is fighting the Skaven, which means rout and rally, around and round, as the rats have a tendency to do that. But that's alright. If they're routing and rallying, they're not fighting in melee, and it gives us more time to fire down upon them. How long have we been fighting? 9.5 minutes straight since we Vanguard deployed. This has been just a pitched battle for the entire time, which is quite a long time, as standard battles hover around 2 to 3 minutes, generally speaking. And there we go, looks like more enemy units are routing, getting some very nice shots with the artillery now as the range has opened up and allowed them to get some good angles. Once again, the enemy getting slowed down by those shrapnel projectiles. And the damage coming in from the shrapnel and from the grape shot alike. There we go, rip those rats apart. And there we go, it looks like the shift is here, the balance of power suddenly shifts massively in our favor, and the rats will break. The hill has held, and at the very least, the rangers on the hill didn't take as much damage as they might have. There were a few ranger units that got extremely heavily damaged. I believe 2 of them made their way off the field. One got basically destroyed by triads, one got very heavily damaged by a unit of clan rats, and I think one of them, well, actually 2 of them, these were the ones that were essentially holding back the tide of plague monks and storm vermin and whatnot on the left flank, where this big blob was awaiting that rune of wrath and ruin. But hold they did, and they still are over half HP in that, so yeah. Now we'll see how much we get to heal off of this, and whether it'll be enough to both take the settlement nearby and to continue fighting right after. Still, a pretty critical victory, I think, for BELEGAR, and I guess, accidental or not, boldness does pay off. Oh, alright. Well, we were able to win the battle there. Unfortunately, the healing isn't all that much, and being a Skaven pile, it does mean that most of the enemy armies escaped. So will BELEGAR live to fight another day? I guess we'll be finding out this episode. Well, I mean, he's immortal, but his army, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're going to attract replacements as it's the only realistic option. Just a quick look at the Grudge Thrower, which outperformed the cannons quite a bit, and due to those explosive munitions of it. 20,000 damage on our Runesmith. Those runes of Wrath and Ruin were quite decent, and several of our Bugman's Rangers got very badly beat up, mostly the ones that were forced into direct melee combat. I mean, in SFO, they can hold the line quite well. In Vanilla, less so, certainly. And they get ripped apart by Ashen Triads, Death Runners, Storm Vermin with Sword and Board. We even saw them lose in melee against a unit of Clan Rats, which is a little bit disappointing. I would think that a Dwarven Ranger should be stronger than a Clan Rat. Maybe not to Storm Vermin, or at the very least that would feel a little bit more even, but yeah, that one surprised me a little bit. But nonetheless, we'll just have to work with it and keep buffing them up to whatever degree we can. At least we didn't get ambushed, though I suppose if we did get ambushed, then only one army would have been deployed really close to us and the rest not so much. Thorgrim demands us join war against Clan Rictus for money. We will do this, but not while there's a Clan Rictus army right outside one of our settlements. That's a bad idea, my friend. Peace treaty with Grimgor. No, Grimgor, that's obviously not going to happen either, my friend. Valkia. Suddenly everybody wants peace. I wonder why. We just declared a bunch of wars and suddenly everybody wants peace. Alright, so how are we looking here? This army's still alive. This... Okay, so it looks like the Huh. Okay, wait. The remnants of the armies have moved away, but they have also departed from Skavenblight. I was not expecting that. A moment. Zamnel's army is full. Wait. We might be able to sacrifice Miragliano and take Skavenblight by virtue of it. Probably also have to sacrifice Verdanos, but wait, we'll see. We'll see if we can make this happen. BELEGAR, you're gonna need to take Tobaro. And we risk or something. Oh god, I don't know. I mean, if we do it manually, we'd probably suffer maybe a little bit of damage due to the menace below, but it's not super threatening. But I also don't want to waste time on it. I will think about it. For now, though, let's keep doing what we're doing. We may not need Miner's Instinct, but we should still probably put points into it, just in case these armies run. What I'd like to do here is sack the place rather than take it, and then either head directly to Skavenblight if we can manage, or go after Science Surge. If we can sneakily take Skavenblight, that would be just glorious, especially while Ikid is out of the picture, just briefly. Let's get triangulation on you. And yeah, I'm really thinking another engineer. We were in danger of running out of ammunition as well, which ain't so great, but it's not even the ammunition that I wanted for, but rather for the sapper ability. We need a little bit more speed on the rangers if we want to keep making good use of their sniping and stalking and vanguard deploying capabilities. At least that's the way I see it. Anyway, Thane, revered Thane, really could have used those glittering scales in this battle. Or in that battle, really could have. And unfaltering for you. Let's move everybody else, and then I'll think about whether auto-resolving or whether I can overcome my inherent laziness to take that out. Now, you are not able to reach the Fortress of Eyes, so I guess you're going for Enlaga's Blackbeard here. Yeah, you, sir, are going to go around the Fortress of Eyes. I'd like to see what's going on out here. Nothing crazy. Why are you fighting this? This isn't even worth fighting. It's mostly just hobgobs. Just die. No. That's not worth our time. And it'll hurt... Okay. Okay. This is the auto-resolve being complete whack job, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 Slayer pirates got very badly hurt, but this one Slayer pirate didn't get hurt at all. What the heck is this? What? Why? It seems some very, very strange behavior from the auto-resolve lately. I mean, it always performs some strange behavior, but some just straight up really strange stuff. Ooh, another fiery ring of Thori. You know what? Wait. You encamp, sir. You'll be able to heal mostly to full anyway. And go right outside the settlement. Huh. We could use another lord to take it and probably proceed to Ironstorm. How many territories do you have? You have 3. How many more turns until... What's-his-face is back up and running? Level 25. I don't care for Tactician, but I'm disinclined to waste such a high level. Let's... Should we summon this guy, take this, save the turn, head to Ironstorm? Assuming that we can reach it. It looks like we would be able to. Yeah, fine. Saving a single turn of movement is worth our time. So we'll summon you, say Stromny Half-Hand. Though you are costly, you can take the Fortress of Eyes for us. You, 80 and 4 versus 8. Okay, it's the same, so just steel tech. Oh, and you succeed again. Shockingly successful. If you succeed like 5 more times in a row, I'm gonna name you Skolson the Shockingly Successful. To contrast with Beledna the Failure. Not to be confused with Beledna the Defender. And just for those of you who remember the Aboris Ursus campaign. But anyway, let's keep going. Architect of Barden, you're gonna build, sir. We were gonna go to the Tower of Crack, I believe, and unless I'm mistaken, you won't be able to reach it in 1 turn. Doesn't really matter which way we move. Hopefully we can reach it. Wait. We have almost the exact same distance. Alright, go here. And we'll go for the Forbidden Citadel afterwards. We have to go to both places anyway. Glad you won't be able to build stuff. Ooh. But we do have you. Call upon Oaths of Old. I've been waiting for that one. Then... I wanted to do something. BELEGAR. Your 2 Thanes, for now, temporarily, are going to be... Oh, right. Okay, first of all, the Crowns of Command, I don't care for you. Use. Sword of Bloodshed, nice pickup. Alright, I'm gonna redo some of the items. We're starting to rack them up, which is kind of unexpected, because dwarfs aren't as great at that, but yeah. What I should have done is given the Fiery Ring of Thori here to these Thanes. And it's quite useful for this. There we go. Armors of Fortune are going to Lords, so they don't have to be moved right now. Obsidian Lodestones. That one's quite curious. Usually we give these to mages, and I guess the runesmith do... But the runesmiths also fight in melee. They do miscast, though, and then hurt themselves, and... I assume that's spell damage, although I've never actually looked into it, but I assume that it is. Anyway, Belegar. I just do it, just auto-resolve. Let's just hope it doesn't screw us. One lost? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Ooh, it definitely hurt Halcon Half Stonebeard, though. Sack. Alright, then... we are, in fact, just in range of Skavenblight. So, what we need to do here is this. Berserker Sword, yeah, that's fine. Somebody needs a student. Okay, you already have a student. Okay, somebody who doesn't have a student. You don't have a student. Good. How many spare students do we have, incidentally? Just the one? Well, then. I've been a lot better about ancillaries than items in this particular run, but I have been doing good with the items in the Elspeth run. Just gotta knock this one up a notch. And oh, it hurt the drum too. I didn't realize it hurt the drum game. I shouldn't have done that. I really shouldn't have done that. Oh, yeah, that's what happens when you can't overcome your laziness. Go. Skavenblight. Alrighty, yeah, Pyrrhic victory, eh? Seems to think Belegar can win on his own. We're gonna have to get the drum and Halcon Half off of the battlefield immediately, probably. Minus this, we're gonna head to the forge. If only I can remember. It was a tankard. It was some kind of tankard, but I don't remember what kind of item it is. Gatekeeper's Belt, Iron Warden's Tankard, Liquid Fortification, Regeneration enabled if leadership is higher than Wavering. It costs 500 Oath Gold. But the Scepter of Stone would have also been really helpful in that battle. But once again, we're saving the Oath Gold for our damn upgrades. We're going to forge you. Iron Warden's Tankard. That is the one I'm thinking of, right? I think there was another source of... oh... there's also Old Guard's Tankard, which is regeneration, but only if it's out of melee. This one isn't as useful. I mean, we could technically use it here. Leadership is higher than Wavering. Duration Infinity. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Just the one. And we're gonna give it to one of our ghost pals, specifically the one that's badly damaged. You, sir, Halcon Half. I guess lose the Ring of Thori. We'll give it to the other dude, and I immediately forgot what that item was. Oh, it's right here. Alright, I forgot whether it was common or uncommon. Frankly, you could probably use it as well, King Lon. But, you know what, we could probably make up the Oath Gold. We could do 2. Fine, we're gonna do 2. All because I had to auto-resolve. Oh, when will I learn? Don't answer that question, Forge. Alright. Then, I guess we'll give the Rings of Thori to you. This is gonna be necessary. Fire Ring of Thori to you, and the other one to you. Off the Thane. King Lun, you will similarly have the Tankard, if I can find it in here somewhere. There we go. So hopefully you will both heal up to some degree. 179 HP. Ain't much. And you, Zamnil, I assume you're not going to get intercepted because these guys would die if they tried. So you're going to go right here beside Belegar. And you're going to provide reinforcement for Skavenblight. Perfect. Alright, that's set up. I assume Estelle Kelpclaw will then take Miragliano next turn, but we can retake it. It'll be definitely worth it to take Skavenblight. Also, taking control of Skavenblight gives us a legendary grudge reward. A bunch of settled grudges and the Call Army ability. So, if we could do this right now, we'd get that. We still probably wouldn't be able to hit 100, even with, what, 3 legendary grudges in a single frickin' round? Doesn't give us an Age of Reckoning game? That's insanity. That is pure insanity. And not the good kind of chaos insanity. But anyway, let's move everybody else around before the fight. Moving. You, sir. I guess you can raid. You've healed up. Ooh, although we do need to keep an eye on if Valkia's out here with a full stack. Oh, nobody has a Dagrak Sand. Ooh. You're at tier 5. Free tier 4? I'll take it. You, sir. Oh. I see a couple of garbage armies. We could probably auto-resolve them at Harganeth. If you can reach them, which indeed you can, and oh. You have to manually attack them. Alright, fine. You can't reach them if you Okay, decent work there, eh? I wasn't expecting that. Good job. It means we can't reach them because Hargoneth has to be occupied. Because there was no defenders. Oh, but... Ha, not such a great job. We were able to move from Hargoneth to do this. Auto-resolve and die and heal up. Just in case. I don't think there's anybody nearby, but we should take the advantage. Hey, another student. Do you have a student? You do have a student. Oh. Who are you? Strom. Oh, no, you're a lord. You can't get students. You have a student. You do not. Beautiful. We should also check on our research. What are we at here? 450, 415. Ah, this has become 1. Actually, I don't remember if this one was 2. I think this one was always 1, or I could be wrong, and it might have not been. What I do know is these are all 2. And we need them all to be 1. So until that goal is reached, we're going to have to keep going as we are. You're going to jump, or are you going to walk? You're going to jump. Gonna jump here. Should be in range of the next champion of the Dark Gods. He should be right here. We can't see him. Oh, don't tell me he's in ambush. Oh, no. That's concerning. I'm hoping that we just can't see him, because if he's in ambush, it's going to be very problematic for this particular army. I'm not sure that it can handle an ambush. It's not really designed for it. Vamik. I'm gonna go right beside you, sir. You're forcing King Lund to go here, although I guess he was on the way to the Demon Stump and Tower of Gorgoth anyway, but nonetheless. Morgus Asgal. You also need to move, but also in such a way that you can't get intercepted by this. And you also need to head to Jarna Grund, where you will build organ guns, 2 of them, to retrofit this army. Speaking of the army that is being spoken of, you hit Karakrakatan, which should be auto-resolvable, which will destroy Grimgor's faction. Occupy. Lovely. And another student. Getting plenty of them this turn. And another Dwarf Bride as well. Ivory Road complete. And Grimgor's Hard Boys destroyed. Empower those guilds, if you please. I keep building the Toolmaker's Workshops. Upgrade Karakatan. We don't need growth because it's already maxed out, and we don't need the armory here. What we do need is more refectories. Always ever more refectories. Oh, actually, first the spice market. And then refectory afterwards. Do we make money out of spice markets? Yes, we do. This province will generate plenty. Beautiful. Alright, let's keep going. Ungrim, well. Since you're not going here, we'll leave these guys to keep fighting it out. Hopefully we can get them to ignore us for now, even though these are sparsely defended, but I really want to retrofit these armies. So Ungrim, I would like you to jump right to Demon Stump. This would hopefully allow King Lund to kill Vamik and then move to Tower of Gorgoth, while Ungrim pushes southward to the Sentinels. We also need to retrofit him, but one of these lords will be the one to do it, or at the very least bring him the units that he wants. Okay, there's a lot to consider there. Let's do the next battle, shall we? We gotta take Skavenblight. Alright, BELEGAR, it's all you, my friend. Let's also level up this guy to be Rune Master. I thought I had done that, but apparently not. And also, just to double check, what are we in terms of engineers? Ancestral Blood Grungni. I mean, that's great, but it wasn't what I was looking for. Pretty much anything else, because I do want another one of those engines for you. I also want to check Dragon Slayers. They're the cheapest heroes at only 195, so when they have Ancestral Blood Grungni, it really works. These guys being 390 aren't as worth it. I mean, it's once again, it's nickel and diming, but, well, what can you do? Callan and Camp head to Karakadrin, and then build Layer Pirate, assuming that we can't recruit 2 more land ships. We recruit 1, but we're not waiting 3 turns. It's ridiculous. Only when both are up and running. So Vissenland and Nuln, we need 1 more turn, but we'll acquire war wagons from you. Golden Order Outpost is not completed yet either. Anyway, that was just a distraction because I thought of it in the moment. You too. Skavenblight. You could actually auto-resolve it and nobody would die. And thus we wouldn't need the, hammers, but it's Skavenblight. It feels like we earned this, so we should take it. We should take it manually, and so we shall. Wait, will this be broken? Do they have a defense? They don't have a defensive structure. Meaning, in theory, it shouldn't be a broken siege battle. Let's find out. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Last battle I did say that boldness does pay off, and we have to make sure that that is the case for the entire episode. So we've arrived at Skavenblight, and we must take it. Fortunately, we do have quite a lot of reinforcements and quite a lot of quarrels to go around. Now let's see if we can bring Skavenblight down. Reinforcements are going to be allowed to arrive on the map away from our main force over on this side, while BELEGAR slowly pushes forward over here. Generally, I like to deploy over on this side of this particular map when fighting the Skaven. Not always, but most of the time. Once again, there's a problem with this particular tower because it's indestructible, and the artillery can't knock it down. I don't know why they decided to do this. It probably has something to do with this, you know, sort of indestructible terrain here, the little cliffside. But it's a bit odd. I think it's the only one that's like this. I don't think there's any other indestructible ones on this. Like, look, why isn't this one indestructible? Why is this one destructible and that one not? I don't know. It's odd. It's odd, but I suppose it doesn't matter over much. The bugmans that are Vanguard deployed will continue firing over the walls and into the piles of enemy rats hiding behind them, while our artillery attempt to knock down the gates and the walls alike. Hopefully the desync doesn't prevent us from knocking at least some of those walls down, but it does look like the walls will go. Menaces below will continue being summoned upon our units, and we've kept our damaged or most damaged units of rangers back here to protect the artillery pieces, but fortunately the summoned clan rats will have a pretty tough time dealing with rangers, even hurt rangers, when supported by our war drum and by our lords and heroes. Anyway, time to focus that gate down, and we'll break through it in relatively short order. And it looks like another menace below. Huh. Actually, don't remember this menace below happening. Okay, that's a desync. That menace below never happened. I wonder if that'll significantly impact us in any way. Oh, hopefully our cannons don't fire upon. Ah, that's okay, desync. Damn you. Okay, well, hopefully that's not going to be too bad. Anyway, and continue making our way forward, fire upon whatever enemies we can, though we are unnecessarily damaged. At the end of the day, in this particular battle, knowing that a desync could happen, I played it in such a way that I never gave direct orders to any of our units, only told them where to move, rather than to attack any specific enemy. And yeah, 2 menaces below here. Yeah, the desync causes the menaces below to appear in locations that they didn't appear either. On the bright side, though, the enemy walls are pretty much down, so there is that. It does mean that our units given orders to enter the enemy settlement should be able to do so, which will mean they can hopefully take some of the enemy positions. Ooh, some of the Jezzails are fire, or deck gunners. Deck gunners fire upon us. I guess these guys have our cannons. Stop that, damn. Damn you, desync. Deck gunners are here, most likely because the enemy has an outpost, or not most likely, but the Pirates of Sartosa probably have an outpost in Skavenblight. And good for them, not so great for the deck gunners as we start to move forward and into the enemy settlement. Our reinforcements have also arrived as well, and oh, that's where the menaces below are from. The ones that were summoned here, when I played it, were summoned on the reinforcing army. This is why we have Longbeards back here guarding the artillery who tried to make their way forward, and were being attacked by repeated summons. Instead, in the desync, they were summoned here. But otherwise, the important aspect of desyncs is when the walls fail to break or the gate fails to break, and that didn't happen here, which is pretty good. There was a pile of enemy rats here, which is why that Zipbar 42 pounders effect comes in, but they're not there anymore. They're booking their way away across the bridge. Not to worry, our rangers have set up, and they'll get a few quarrels to the back. The rats will get some quarrels to their back, I mean, for their trouble. There we... What the hell? Ah! How did you even know there was a pile of units down there? That's interesting. Not that I'm complaining, might get a few extra shots in these clan rats with shields moving down here, especially while the shields aren't facing us. Time to start making our way across this bridge and continuing to advance by fire and movement. We're going to speed this up a little bit just until we're back in combat. Also want to make sure that we knock out those deck gunners. They are extraordinarily fragile units, like they can't take a single charge from anything, but they are very threatening if allowed to actually fire, so hopefully we'll melt them away. We've also got a few more rangers set up on this cliffside. They can't climb down, but they can certainly fire down upon the enemies. And by the looks of it, this unit of Night Runners will be having a pretty bad day as they cannot reach us to fire back. We've also summoned our unit of gyrocopters on the enemy artillery piece in the hopes of making sure that it goes away. And when I played it, the catapults were destroyed. Here it looks like they are shaken, but their crew might still have abandoned the catapults. I guess we'll find out. Alright, well, now we just have to systematically make our way forward across the bridge, all the while laying down withering coral fire. And the enemy seems to be a little bit too afraid to make their way across the bridge themselves. Our artillery from our reinforcing army are bombarding the last of the remaining towers, and when they start working on the walls and the gate, the Quarrelers and Longbeards and Dwarf Warriors over there will move forward as well. Alright, Rangers. Camera feels a little bit weird up on top of this bridge, but that's hardly surprising. And there we go. Some nice shots into those clan rats. We are starting to run out of ammunition, but, well, who will run out of things first? Us quarrels or them rats? Well, let's find out. Not much to say about this tactically at this point, because right now we're just attempting to sort of set up across the bridge. And it is working reasonably well as the enemy doesn't seem to actually want to charge up there for whatever reason. And we don't even have BELEGAR and the ghosts forward yet, and gotta point out that the ghosts have been regenerating this entire time. Very slowly, mind you, but well, they certainly needed it, especially Halkenhalf, who was down to just a tiny, tiny sliver of HP. Anyway, enemy halberd-wielding storm vermin continue to take fire here. Should be a little bit braver here, as I'm sure the Council of 13 would be telling them to cross that bridge or face their wrath, and you probably should fear the Council of 13 a little bit more, and then getting a quarrel between the eyes there. Alright, there we go. Just try to cross the bridge or just get, not gunned down, but destroyed here. Huh. Once again, desync means that there were units here at this time, but they're not. But that's okay. This is something I learned while playing the Elspeth campaign, which had a lot more desyncs in Elspeth's army. You don't have to give units direct orders in battles that you know are likely to desync, and they'll still fight the battle. Even if some of the stuff that is given orders, like the spells and the army abilities, like the 42 pounders, will not work, the rest of the army will still work. There we go, and the enemy is certainly being whittled down. The balance of power at about 90% now. They just can't get close to us. What the heck? Okay, I have no idea why this guy's here. Oh, I think what happened, see this clan rat has a flash bomb on it. Yeah, see, this is why you can't give units orders. I think what happened is this clan rat unit started to charge these guys, so I used the flash bomb on them to reduce their speed, charge speed, and melee defense so that the rangers could hold them back. But since this didn't happen in the desync, the unit went all the way out here to where the unit was located in the desync to do that. That said, he should still be pretty darn safe as the rangers are still supporting him. And eventually, when he has to restock one of them with ammunition, he'll probably move back towards them. There we go, cannon fire. I will still continue to add support here. They didn't want to go to the first bridge, which we now hold, but will now die on the second bridge instead, and that's just fine. I suppose that's a scary sight to try to get to the Rangers, holding the bridge there with cannons arcing overhead and BELEGAR and Ancestor Ghost standing there. Anyway, it looks like with that the battle is pretty much ours. Our reinforcements have made their way into the city and are going to start capturing minor supply locations. Few more volleys from our Rangers and or artillery pieces should allow us to carry the day, and the enemy really just does not know what to do here. They really should have tried to stay near Skavenblight with all of their armies, but I guess going after Wurzag did work out quite well after all. Ooh, some nice shots either from the cannon or from the and from the Rangers. And presumably the Grudge Throwers as well, which knock out the last of the crew of that Plague Claw, and I do believe the battle should be just about ours. Huh. I don't think this happened when I played it, but hey, at least we get to see some Dwarf Warriors in action a little bit. And let's see what we got here. 2442, their melee attack is quite low. Oh, wow. In fact, the Clan Rats have stronger, better stats. Just very slightly in terms of melee attack and defense, but they don't have the armor. And they certainly don't have Quarrelers supporting them, so it's not going to be enough. And Dwarf Warriors appear to be kind of moving. Yeah, see, they're trying to move because these rats weren't here before, but it doesn't matter. And because most of the enemy army has been destroyed by the Rangers exactly as it happened when I played it. Just a little bit more and I do believe the battle will be ours. And these guys are out of ammunition, but I guess it doesn't matter. The desync always says weird stuff here at the end, but the battle happened more or less as it was supposed to. These guys still did the whole systematic advance across the bridge with the artillery firing here, and the Grudge Throwers firing here, and the Rangers firing every which way, and it was very, very effective. Alrighty, there we go, and very nice. So falls Skavenblight, and that should knock out a legendary grudge on top of it. We're gonna occupy the place. And is it not gonna... Okay, wait, did it already say it? Okay, I probably already said it. Empower the guilds, don't bother with the... I was about to say don't bother with the mustering hall, but we could actually... I'll redo some of the stuff in Zamnel's army, assuming, of course, he doesn't immediately need to move to Miragliano. He also has the issue of potentially being ambushed by one of these armies, but, well, we're looking a lot better than we were last turn, so I'm still pretty happy with that particular result. Anyway, let's keep moving with whatever it is that we need to do. So, Yori Brynbright and Berundan Stoneheart, you still need more Longbeards in this particular army. And this was going to be a sort of classic army. Now, the two Thanes, I had another place for them to be, and it wasn't actually in this army. Now the question is, which army, where do we send you? Where will we start that army? I'm not so sure yet, so we're going to have you leave the army for now. They're supposed to go for probably the... We have Ironbeard and... yeah, anything that has a lot of Ironbreakers is going to need a lot of these guys. I'm going to put you in the box army, sort of boxy formation army. Funnily enough, Berundan might be a decent sort of lord for that, if it wasn't for the fact that he's not a rune lord. It is time. Let me just think here for a second. Grudge Throwers. Quarrelers. That's sort of standard. You know what? We're gonna wait for a turn until the grudge capacity, because I wanna trade the grudge thrower to this guy. Although, yeah, that's fine. I'll trade it to him. It'll work. It'll work. Everything's fine. Nobody panic. Yeah, so that means you're gonna sit here for another turn, so just stay in your stance and sit around, my friend. There's nothing else for you to do until this army is ready to move. Who is also ready to move? Oh, that was all of the... okay, well, there's a bunch of other things to do, but that was all the main armies. Myrmidons, 60 and 8 versus 80 and 20. Alright, we'll head there then. Unless it's changed. Nope, still. I'm just checking what the percentage likelihood of success is. Alright, keep on stealing that tech. Specialist for you. Up to 469. Nice, but not enough. Not enough yet. Constructors. Well, well, well. I guess the construction will continue until morale improves. Mordheim, how much are you worth now? Out of curiosity. 94. That is still less than Oberstyre and Schwarzhofen, isn't it? Schwarzhofen 13. They do it for 41,000 now. What about Fort Oberstyre? 7.4. Okay, so you do that. Alright, fine. We'll do this and take your money. And then we'll try Essen afterwards. Alright, enjoy your Mordheim. I probably should have cancelled if there was something there to be cancelled, but whatever, it's fine. Let's just hope that Essen is worth a lot to them. You know what, I'm even tempted to upgrade this to level 2. It might increase its worth. I'm not entirely sure, it also might not, but why not? And we'll see if that thing is, or what the worth of that is as well. Plus, we've got the capital at Beckhofen, so we could always upgrade it to tier 3, and then maybe eventually trade it for Schwarzhofen. Now, we need to upgrade the gold mine at Castle Drakenhof, meaning we have to return all of you guys all the way over there.
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah, Dragon Slayer. Yeah, you're not doing much Dragon Slaying when you're a constructor. You're a Debt Slayer, is what you are. I should rename them all to Debt Slayer. Oh, alright. Well, where was I? I got distracted by my own amusement. Yeah, the gold center. Honestly, that didn't feel like it reduced it as much as I thought it would be. It's minus 45% out of the 3 of you. Doesn't feel like minus 45%. What was it before? Ah, whatever. It doesn't matter. There was a reduction, if nothing else. At least there was some kind of reduction. Now, you're not the only constructors in the game. You two are constructors as well. Now, Fort Dorjny Vort, you will quickly build up the drinking hall for very cheap. And we can head on to Saber Mountain. Wherein we will upgrade other stuff. Construction cost 15 plus 15 should equal 30. 900, 1650, 1650. Then on to Ice Spewer and the next territories. Are you actually able? Nah, you're not able to reach it this turn, but that's fine. You'll get there eventually, maybe even both of these places next turn. You could also start moving around here, go back around to Jarnagrun to upgrade stuff there, although the engineer's workshop is pretty cheap, so we could get these running pretty much immediately. And... sorry, my lights are flickering right now, huh? Hopefully the... well, hopefully we don't get a crash. Would not be the time after all this length of episode. Would be unfortunate, tremendously so. Hargrim Norgrimling, you're one of the new NGs. We need to keep track of the rest. Oh, right, yeah, we already did that. We already did that. The rest of them are fine, and damn, light flickering is distracting right now. Like, it's a lot more than what occasionally happens. Well, anyway, I will try to not be incredibly distracted as we get into the end of this episode. I would like to do 2 things. First of all, actually we got building, but that's not super relevant or crazy right now. Legendary grudges. Oh, we have to actually destroy Clan Scryer to get the 2.5k. Damn, I got excited for that. That unfortunately won't give us the additional grudges. Yeah, that 100% definitely not going to happen at this rate. Especially since the rest of these armies aren't really worth any grudges whatsoever, and they have 5 settlements remaining. So Tobaro, Montenas, Bilbali, Magritta, and Nuja all belong to these guys. And we won't be able to send both of these armies to deal with all of this, because we'll need to send one of them back immediately to deal both with the pirates and to deal with the Bloody Hand, as we've no choice in the matter. And I don't think it's the time to split them into to get another army here, that we could start recruiting quarrelers.
Time for a record.
There have been a few calling for the return of Grimly Coral Seeker from the BELEGAR campaign. We do need more armies here. I don't think anybody else could take the place. Zamnil Raki Breaker. Your army is kind of just a bunch of random troops put together. Doesn't mean it won't serve, but it does mean that, well, we actually need to give you an identity. The thing is, I wanted to do something with a faster moving army because you have that lovely ranger trained trait. You know, just stay as you are for now. Stay as you are. Well, let's do the buildings after all. And then I guess move towards the end of the turn, though we're basically out of time, nonetheless. I'd still like to end the turn. Griffinwood? At least if I end the turn, I can do some of the admin off-screen. Volery, this will be traded. Stone Sky Foothills in general will be traded, so just collect the income for the next turn. Harganath, we can immediately build you up, and I guess we will build the Trinket Maker here. I mean, this could also be another Oath Gold territory, but we've got wine and dyes here, which might be okay. And then go for the Dwarf Keep at Cowark. Well, is Cowark safe? I don't know. I'm just going to hope that it is. Don't bother with the granary, though, because it's too expensive. We'll continue reducing the costs of everything by building the Trinket Makers rather than the Oath Gold buildings, though we will have to pick a few places where we will go Oath Gold instead. And relatively soon, I would wager. But for now, we're okay. Oh! Naggarond has been destroyed. Ah, these guys took Hag Grief. I wanted this for us. Naggareth, you're looking mighty tempting there. But anyway, let's keep going for what we've got for now. 4.2k on that Dwarf Keep. No, not until we figure out whether we actually get to keep it over the next turn. Fort Oberstar, yeah. We can upgrade you next turn with the Empower the Guilds, and since we now own you, we can move the Constructors over there. They don't need to be in Castle Drakenhof after all. We can start moving over here to Fort Oberstar. Like so. And that'll be happening next turn. Do we delete? We'll delete this at Waldenhof. And keep the one at Fort Oberstar. Not that it really matters, but yeah. Alright, keep going in order. Deadwood. Frozen City, yeah, 1560 is not so bad. 1540, we do need the growth here in these new territories. The faster we get them up and running, the better. We're sending the Architect here, so we will wait. Yeti Peak and Titan's Notch. Expensive, tremendously so, but we gotta build stuff, as I don't think the Constructors are gonna loop all the way down here. They're gonna go back this way instead, so you're gonna have to worry about yourself. Tinker's Den for you, and yeah, Guild Marketplace. Expensive though it may be. Palace of Ruin, yes to the Dwarf Tinker's Shop. Let's finally build the Bazaar and Dwarf Keep as well as Granary. Oh, love having a decent amount of cash and actually not having to worry too much about the upgrades. Not the Dwarf Fort, though. It's a little bit expensive. Or Dwarf Docks. Although, it makes 200 per turn. It's not so bad. Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's probably worth it. It's a decent amount of money coming in. Let's get the Trinket Maker at the Valley of Horns as well. This might be one of the places where we replace... No, it's got income from buildings via Carrick Azorn, meaning we want to make as much money as possible. Alright, that's fine. Gormodny Mountains, 1.5k for the growth. We actually don't need the growth all that much here, at least not right now, so we'll hold off until we can get Carrick Valag. Help it... Did I go the wrong way? I went the wrong way. Should be going this way. Alright, Fortress of the Damned and Dwarf Tinker's Shop here. Shard Bastion, upgrade you as well, but hold off on... I mean, we'll build the Reinforced Gate, but we don't need it right now. We're also running out of cash pretty rapidly, so we need to be careful. More of these guild marketplaces, more Oath Gold, and more regular gold, but it's the Oath Gold that we're building that particular line of buildings for. Blizzard Peak. Well, we got Constructors on the way here, so we can hold off on you. Peak Pass, Mountains of Nalfari, and the rest of this looks good to me because we're up to our older territories that have been around forever. Next up, we go Diplo. See if there's anything interesting here. And no trade, and no military alliances. Karazakarak wants a legit, like, regular Confed now. Huh. It seems that this means that they've lost a bunch of territory, or not a bunch of territories, a bunch of, well, possibly a bunch of territories, but they seem to be on the back foot, which ain't great. I don't think we're at that point yet, because it'll open up a huge extra front. We need these armies retrofitted, and we need to move down there. So Thorgrim, I know you're in trouble, but we're gonna have to hold on. You're gonna have to hold on just a little bit longer. We can still confederate you at any time we want, as we've just outgrudged you by a very considerable amount, so nearly there. Let's end the turn. Here on move, building upgrade available, outpost upgrade available. No, we're saving the rest of the cash because we'll be recruiting a bunch of stuff next turn. End turn. I just want to end the turn because I want to see what happens in this area, and at the same time so I can do a little bit of admin between the episodes. Alright, Clanashin are not going to try to retake Skavenblight, which, well, works for us. Elspeth will want us to once again declare war on the Bear Legions, but they're not willing to pay us nearly as much as they used to be, so no. And, they didn't try to attack Miragliano. Alright, well, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm happy we got the extra grudge settler capacity as well via that research. And there we are. Still have to watch out for this little beast catcher's army, but fortunately they're not moving this way to our undefended territories, so we're still looking pretty okay over there. Might have to use Ungrim to kill this army before moving to Demon's Stump. And we could even use King Lun as a reinforcement, though I don't imagine he'd be needed there. Anyway, folks, with that, I believe we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Next time, we will probably knock out Zatan, the Blacks faction, and probably move all the way to Village with Malakai, just to make sure that Cathay is no longer troubled by the stuff to the north before returning back to where we were. We still have a few more adventures to go. But, well, actually, as soon as we confederate Karazakarak, we'd be able to do this one, so at least there's that. This whole area is still in absolute shambles, and the orcs are coming, the Bloody Hands orcs are coming, so we'll have to deal with them. Northward, we're looking pretty okay, however, as the enemies are very much on the back foot and have been by and large destroyed by Nagaroth. Well done to the Nagaroth. Surprisingly effective. We may or may not betray you. Depending. I mean, on the one hand, will we need the extra territory? No. On the other hand, they are filthy algae, and I don't know. To what degree can we stomach them is the real question. I suppose it'll depend on, well, how much interest remains in this campaign, how long we keep it going. I'm still having a lot of fun, and there's still a lot of armies I'd like to try out, including Ironbreakers and a few other things. The all-air army has to be built. It absolutely has to. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, Ranger trained might be a good, I'll think about it. Which lord would command that kind of army? Anyway, more of Malakai's adventures to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.